Wow. Is this a Nu Skin dream come true, or what?
It is.
Blake, Steve, Sandy, Truman, Scott, Joe, you watched us when we ran across that stage, and I used to say, do you remember me? Do you remember me? I don't want you to forget me, Risa Salter. I had a big dream, and I want to talk to all of you that are here for the very first time, because I remember what it felt like to be sitting here for the very first time, seeing people achieving this kind of income goals and wondering, how is this real? How could somebody like me do something like this? Well, the answer is, I don't think you really can unless you're involved with Nu Skin Enterprises. This just doesn't happen out there in the real world. It just doesn't. We are absolutely living the Nu Skin dream. To watch our boys on the camera and to have them here with us last night. They spoke to our group in the meeting, and Justin is a Lapis executive, and he's moving forward in the business, and he has a dream and a goal to own his life and not have to work for someone else. I mean, where does that happen? How does that happen? Let's talk about that for a minute, because I have a reputation in this company for, if she can do it, then I can do it too. So if that is the reputation that I have, then I am thankful if I can bless your lives to empower you to know that if you set your mind to something with the right company, positioned at the right time, and believe me, Nu Skin is just that. You have to work really, really hard. And I know Donna loves to say that I said, you know, I looked over, we were doing a meeting at the house, and I looked over, my plants were dying. And today I might be a little embarrassed about that. Today I can have somebody help make sure those get watered. But then I remember I was so busy, I had no time for anything else. And you're hearing about the positioning and timing of this company today, right now. We have been fortunate to be at the right place at the right time. The first time, we had no idea. I was 28 years old and running a daycare center out of the house, and came out here to see this conference, and I just thought, Blake and Steve and Scott, that you were talking to me. I thought you were telling me that I could do it, and that you would stand behind me and support me, and that's what they're saying today to each and every one of you. And I just decided to take that pill and believe it and run after it, because I knew that we needed something different in our lives, and we needed something to change. And we hit this momentum growth back then in 1989 and 1990, and I didn't understand that. I just thought that's what happened to everybody. And then we know what happened in the US. We kind of hit this flat cycle, and then these guys said, hey, we're not named Nu Skin International for nothing. We're going international. And I looked at Matt and I said, you know, we don't know anybody internationally, but how great would that be? And so we said, who do you know who knows somebody in Australia? Who do you know who knows somebody in New Zealand or Japan? And somebody through somebody knew somebody in Japan. And we were fortunate enough to work hard and experience this company's, or another, momentum growth wave in Japan. We've had many growth waves internationally all over the world, but we had that dream and gift to experience two momentums. And then we've been fortunate to retire and enjoy being with our boys and spending the time with them, which is the Nu Skin dream, to have the time with our family. And we took about 8 years and retired young and enjoyed it and knew that the company was supporting us in the ability to do that. And then all of a sudden, the company introduces age lock. Now, I'm going to turn 50 this year, and that's a big year. And our boys are finished with college, and we looked at each other and I said, what am I going to do? And I love this product, so we started working hard. And today I truly do feel a responsibility to help the people closest to us and to all of you realize that are new, that are here for the very first time, that you are at the right place at the right time in your life. And if you just take advantage of it, don't take the year it took me to become an executive and ask all the product questions and build my personal confidence and self-esteem before I would even share it with anybody from the business side, right? But after that first year, and missed that momentum first year growth, I finally had the personal confidence. And that's what we do in this business, don't we? It's a personal growth journey. And you're going to take it, all of you that are brand new, but just do it really quick. Know that you don't want to miss a minute, and just start sharing the opportunity and tell the people that you care about the most. Today, my sister and brother-in-law are running with it. My best friend in the world, Nancy Hassan, Blue Diamond out of Portland, and our boys, and all the people that we love and care about now, we are not letting them miss this timing. This company is magical, and we are grateful for everything that you continue to do, to giving us the science behind this product, the integrity to keep this opportunity solid, and to stay committed to each and every one of us through the challenges that we know that you face. And we couldn't be more thankful and grateful for this opportunity for each and every one of you today, starting right now. This is your time, your moment. This leadership, this entrepreneurial pool of leadership that is working together today is like nothing we've seen in the last 22 years. I want to acknowledge all of you and thank you for everything you're all doing to help all of us right now. It's a great timing. Thank you.
Okay, she's a tough act to follow, but I've been doing it for 20 years. I'm watching all this talent tonight, and I'm thinking, the greatest thing about this company is you don't have to have talent to succeed. You just have to have desire and a big heart, and it doesn't hurt to marry up either. That works too. I tell you what, Risa has been such a mentor for me in this business. When I first got involved, I quit and went full-time June of 1990. And as Risa said, this company was in momentum. And I thought, this is easy. Man, this is unbelievable. We're going right to the top on our income, kept on increasing. And, I'd been full-time for about 8 months. And I think in that month of April, we hadn't sponsored anybody, and we got our biggest check, but that's kind of the way this business works. You do all the work up front. And then we had a little adversity. And that's where you find out what you've got inside your chest in this business. And our income declined for about 8 months, and it got to the point where it was about 35% of what it was at the max in April. And Risa, as a Christmas present that December, she said, Matt, I think you need to get a full-time job. And I'll tell you what, that woke me up big time. And I looked at her and I said, you don't get it. I've done that for 7 years. I'm never going back. I'm not going to answer to somebody else. I'm not going to have a boss. Once you experience the benefits of this business, which I can narrow it down to one word, it's freedom. It's just freedom, freedom, freedom. Freedom to do what you want to do. You have your life when you have this business. So the crossroads that I was at that point was, what are the alternatives? Can you go back and get that same kind of lifestyle at a traditional business? You can't do it. So once you've tasted that, you have to reach down, and what I did that December is I reached down and I said, you know what, we're going to do whatever it takes to get back on track. We're going to build this business in the U.S., and we're going to gut up, and we're going to go do this thing internationally. And the thing that I learned through that process that I think is the biggest thing is this. The thing about team elites is they all have a defining moment in their life. We all have a lot of little defining moments, little mini ones. Coming to this convention can be a defining moment because you chose to come here and learn more about this business, accelerate the learning curve, get an edge, so to speak. so you get on the road and you get excited about this business and this company, and you hit a lot of these little defining moments. But every one of these team elites sitting down here has hit that big defining moment. That's when I hit it that December, and I looked myself in the mirror and said, this is my chance to make my mark on this business. And we worked our tail off. And let me tell you something. Back then, when we did international, it was like the wild, wild west. Okay? There were guns and blood, and you had to protect your turf. But it was exciting. Let me tell you, it was very exciting, wasn't it, Blake? It was something else. But, you know, and the thing is you can look at the two of us and think that we just had this highway to the top, and that's just not the way it worked. You know, we struck out quite a few times internationally, but what I can tell you is when you don't quit and you keep talking to people, sooner or later you bump into the people that get it. And when they get it, they make you look like you know what you're doing. All right? Let me tell you, there are rubies and emeralds that got more going on in this business right now than the people at the top, because they're in the trenches doing this deal. And I've got a lot of respect for you to do it. Yeah, give yourself a hand, definitely. You know, I remember when I first flew out to the company in November of 1990, I had the privilege to go to my first convention as a Blue Diamond. Thank you. This business just fell in my lap. It was unbelievable. But I can remember listening to the founders of this company, Blake and Sandy and Steve, and there was one common thread, and that was the integrity and the values that they were able to translate and really communicate at a level that was so believable. You know, there's something about this business, when you communicate with people from your gut, they believe it. It's the same thing with this company. I just believed what Blake had to say, and I can narrow it down to one word that really describes this company, and it's humility. And the thing I love about Blake is that I think he exemplifies that word. No ego, totally humble, but a leader. And if you look up that word and you Google it and you find out what an L5 leader is, that's what Blake is. And that's what I think we all strive to be in this business, is to take it as far as we can. It just doesn't end. The personal growth never stops. As much, you know, if we take on those challenges, if we take on that adversity, those fears, and we just go right through them, then you've got your ticket to go all the way in this business. So that's my advice. Go do it. I love this company. I love the leadership here. We're a team. Some of my best friends right down here. Thank you very much.